Doing the most with Scarlet and Mitchell. Dig down the door, talking life, love, the wild and absurd. Saying what you're thinking, no filter, just words.
We're back.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 15.
Doing the most.
This is the third time I've heard this.
Laugh a little louder, spill a little tea from big dreams.
So you still have to take it in.
Scenes.
Oh.
Yeah. But don't worry, you were talking during it, so.
I'm sorry. Well,
So we
gotta figure out how to do it.
With stories that sparkle and barely begin, so plug in.
Okay. Well, this Scarlet and Mitchell doing the most. Episode 15.
Yeah,
You've already
thanks
said
for
all
joining
that.
us again.
It's our podcast, actually. So let's do this. All right, moving along. So what is this podcast? It is about doing the most. We got 5 cats and kids and different things and vacuums. That should be well established by this point in time.
Yeah.
Right? People are, is my microphone falling lower? I don't know.
No, I think it's okay.
It doesn't matter.
Or your head's falling higher.
Yeah. So we are back this week, and it's fortnightly, every 2 weeks. The last one didn't get released exactly how I intended, but that happens, right?
Yeah.
So, and which is fine because we can get into that.
Life happens, you know. That's why we're here.
And so what I really wanted to say is, actually, I have a sort of a list of things to talk about, but I always like to remind people that you can go watch this if you want to watch. If you're not watching on YouTube and you want to, you can go to @LessCats Please is the name of the channel or the handle on YouTube, as well as all the other social media sites.
TikTok, X,
Blue Sky.
I almost called it Blue Cloud because I use it so infrequently.
We're not using Blue Sky, but yeah, that's fine. So there you go. So all that. Oh, Instagram. Did we mention that?
Oh,
one?
yeah. No, we did not.
So sometimes I blib out the little things, but moving. I'm going to keep saying moving along. Wow. I'm just going to try to keep us rolling. So last episode we had our special guest, Olivia, and then I took a road trip and I got her off to school. I drove across the country, partway, yeah, because Midwest,
halfway,
to Minnesota. So I guess, I don't know what you got on the list today. I have a variety of things. Are you out of water already?
No.
Dehydrated.
I was just going to say we're an Owala family.
Oh, yes.
Sponsored by, well, not really, but maybe one day.
Yeah.
We're not Stanley people, if you know what I mean.
So if you're watching or listening, Owala, we use your products. 2 of which in our household are stolen. Acquired by
we did
lost
not
and
steal
found.
them from a store. Somebody paid money for them. We found them along the way.
People are losing their Owalas. We collect them for them.
I have something to talk about.
Okay.
I want to talk about my worst day ever recently.
Is that today?
No.
Oh. Well, no, because today.
Getting a cat hair off my face. What do you know?
You can talk about it. Because right before we started this, I was like, I'm going to use your phone to film. And that's when you discovered your back of your phone is all shattered and the glass
Yeah, it's fine.
done.
It's just like another thing that I don't want to spend money on.
Yeah. And then
another $10 a month through T-Mobile.
Right. And then you walk into the studio and then you're like, oh, and the cat who likes to lay in my chair, Kennedy, and you're like,
a
a
flea crawling on his belly. And I'm like, oh, well, I guess it's about that time of the month again.
Yeah, for everything. So what's your worst day ever? Oh, tell me.
Oh, it was, what day did you get back? Saturday. It was Saturday.
Okay. Wow. How did this worst day?
Where do I begin?
Okay. Oh, was it? Okay.
You were out of town.
Mm-hmm. Obviously.
It was like, let me see, you left Tuesday.
You're right.
So I was alone Tuesday night, Wednesday night, Thursday night, Friday night. So 4 nights. Did not sleep well because apparently my codependency is way more severe than I thought.
Right.
So didn't sleep well any of those nights. That was my 4th night of bad sleep. And I think Max got up like 3 times or something, which is fine. But like I had a hard time falling back asleep every time he got up. And woke up the next morning. I think he got up at like 6:30, which is pretty early for him. Not his earliest, but pretty early.
He's gone in phases, but lately he's been like sleeping later. And I don't know if it's because of the daylight change or whatever,
Could be.
But that's early.
But
especially
so he gets up and I'm trying to plan the day for us. I know I have to come pick you up from the airport around 3, which will be a great segue into what happened when I picked you up from the airport.
Yeah.
But anyway, so the morning started off. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to try to make the best of this morning. Max was cranky. Neither of us slept well. I'm cranky. He's cranky. We have a guest. There's all this pressure to entertain. My brother's visiting from out of town.
Right.
And so I was just like, you know what? We're going to go to this farm. I won't name names because I'm going to talk about it in a rather poor light.
Oh, sorry.
Which is not their fault, or is it? I don't know. But I looked up this farm online, and it was like $10 for children. Adults get in free. Just please don't bring any outside food. That's whatever. I tried to like purchase a ticket online, and it wouldn't let me, which should have been like my first red flag, but I ignored it. And that morning, I'm like, hey, let's just stop and get some breakfast at a local place. And that way we don't have to worry about eating when we get there.
Right.
So every time I go to this stupid cafe, something
You can mention
goes awry. Okay?
We may have
Biscuits
mentioned.
Cafe in Westland.
Yeah, we may have mentioned.
Every
it
time
before.
I go, something goes awry, whether it is poor service, whether it is, and by the way, Mitchell and I have both worked in service industry in some form or fashion in our lives. So, and we kind of still do in a way.
Yeah.
So
As nurses, but yeah.
I get it. Short staffed, I get how it can be. And I don't feel like I short them a tip or anything because of that. It's just kind of a, I don't know. When you have a toddler, you're on a timeline. And that timeline starts as soon as you sit down.
Right.
So anyways, so I digress. So we sit down. And then, of course, Max is doing his thing where he's just a friendly, outgoing kid. And there's nothing I can do to stop this. Yeah, he just loves talking to people. He loves talking to new people. Not me. I hate talking to new people. I don't like getting to know people. I'm an introvert. So it's very uncomfortable it's very weird being an introvert and having a kid who's like his dad and very extroverted.
Right.
So he stands up. We're in a booth. There's a opaque dividing glass above the booth seat. So he kind of peeks over the booth and...
Wait, is he peeking, but it's still opaque glass?
It's still opaque glass,
okay.
but he's peeking like... Oh, there's like, the opaque glass is framed in wood. So he's peeking over the wood part, the very top of it.
Okay.
And there's a much older couple sitting behind us of the baby boomer generation. 70s, somewhere in that range.
Right.
Then all of a sudden, like Max peeks around. He wasn't even for a second. And I'm already telling him, like, you need to sit down. It's very rude to like look at other people when they're eating. We've been through this on airplanes. We've been through this at restaurants.
Yeah.
And he's just curious. So he just looks around
learning.
and all of a sudden this hand hits the glass. And I'm like, oh, my immediate thinking was, oh, he was probably just trying to reach up and like shake his hand or, be a cute little man. No. This freaking baby boomer was evil. And he hits the glass and I'm sitting here trying to rationalize it in my head of what's going on. And he looks at Max and he goes, turn around and sit down. And I was just like, my jaw just dropped. I'm sorry. Every time I retell this story.
Yeah, because you're lucky I wasn't there.
I know.
Everyone's lucky I wasn't there.
I kind of look at my brother and we're just kind of like, and I look at him and I go, did what just happen? Like, did that just happen? And he was like, yeah. And I'm like, you're going to need to help me out here. You're going to need to, because I'm not a confrontational person. Like I hate it.
Yeah, my blood's boiling right now. I'm thinking of everything I would have done.
So the only thing I do is become passive aggressive and I just start going off on, and I use very colorful language in front of my child. But at this point I'm just trying to rage bait and I'm just there. I'm like, you know what? Now's a great time, Clay, for me to talk about how the baby boomer generation is the worst generation ever to exist. They are so entitled. They are so full of themselves. They are so self-centered. They don't know how it is to be in a service industry because either that wife never worked a day in her life and yet they still feel obligated to go and be demanding at restaurants and leave a $2 tip.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, they're the worst tippers.
Right.
They're the worst humans. They're the worst parents. Like, talk about a age of like narcissism where you look back and you're like, don't you remember, Mom? Don't you remember where you weren't really there? Oh, what? I was there. Like, you're just remembering out gaslighting galore. Like, they are, and I know your parents, they're kind of a part of this. They're not very nice to wait staff.
Right.
Like they're
just, right. They're a little bit,
but they're not to
older.
this point.
Right,
like they're
right.
not, they're still very polite people. But for the most part,
their expectation
they
is
are
very interesting.
awful.
What?
I'm sorry.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just like
The baby boomers are my parents now.
baby boomers.
Okay. I mean, yes, mother, father, if you ever, my dad never listens. My mother might, but no, there is
Absent fathers.
Generationally, yes, there's something like
millennial dads. I'm going to kind of categorize you. Sorry, my CD skipped.
Yeah,
I'm going to categorize you as a millennial dad.
me.
The greatest generation of dad. You guys are doing it right. You are doing everything your dads didn't do. You are strapping the babies onto you. You are vacuuming the house. You are cooking dinner. Like, it is a true partnership with you. And I'm
also
so
a male
grateful.
nurse.
You are. So I am so grateful to have a husband who didn't fall into the footsteps, because it can go either two ways. Either you get the guy who's like, I just wish my partner were more like my mom and would just stay at home and raise the kids and cook and clean and take care of me, or you get the guy like you who learned from his parents' mistakes.
Right.
Or also, we don't have a choice. We both have to work. It has to be a partnership. Like,
Yeah.
I think in your previous relationship, it may have been more traditional.
True. It
But
was.
that was a choice.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that. But it is
Anyway, so
but
I'm
how
not
do you
even done
really
with my
feel?
worst day.
I
But,
know.
I mean, go ahead. I'll let you.
No. Well, what I was gonna say is like, I'm glad I wasn't there, because you know me, I probably would have just stood up and been like, I'm sorry. You can talk to me that way. You're going to talk to my child. He's 4. Have you never raised a child? Oh, maybe you haven't. Sit down and shut up, sir. Like, or the kind of person I've like come to fisticuffs. Like, so I'm surprised. Your generation is angry, but you're not going to stand up and conflict with them. Because you know me, I'm
I think
always
it's just
raring
me,
for a
though.
fight.
I don't think my generation is like me.
Oh.
I think I am just like, I'm the kind of person who won't say what I truly want to say, but I will ruminate about everything that I should have said.
Yeah.
I'll be the one having a conversation with myself in the shower and like, and you should have said this.
So, I'm sorry. You told me, and I was like, man, I wish I was there.
So-
and then I was all like, did you guys do anything? Did you go out to the parking lot? Did you confront them? I was like,
Lucky for us, they left very shortly after. I think they were already at the tail end of their meal. They were wrapping up their check. Like,
leaving that $2 tip for the wait.
leaving the $2 tip. By the way, our waitress was phenomenal. I don't even think she saw the incident, but she was just lovely. I don't remember her name.
It's just strange because like it doesn't matter. But when people so sometimes kids are unruly, and I know Max. I'm his dad.
Adults putting adult expectations on children,
right?
And your dad does this sometimes. I'm
right.
like,
they get frustrated.
I'm like, I'm not gonna make my child sit at this dinner table because then we're all gonna be miserable.
Right.
I'm like, he's 4 years old. I'm better off just letting him eat, run around, graze a little bit, or me trying to make him sit in a seat. It's not fun for me. It's not fun for anybody at that table. I'm not gonna do it. Like, I'm not going to put my adult I already do that in ways that I don't even mean to do without realizing it. But
I was just saying, like, it's always interesting to me that somehow people forget that they were once children, and maybe that couple had never maybe they never had children, or maybe they're like, but like, it doesn't sound like Max was being obnoxious. He was just being friendly, and
there was no chance for him to even be obnoxious. It happened so fast.
So. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Anyways, you can move on, because all I'm going to do is get angry.
So then we go to the farm, and this is a day in Oregon where it is supposed to be 100 degrees, but it's overcast. So I'm hopeful. I'm like, okay, it's going to be 100 degrees, but it's overcast. Maybe it won't get as hot as it says it's going to get. Lies.
Oh.
Nobody told me that because overcast just means no wind.
And more
That's why it's overcast. There's no wind to blow the clouds away.
It's like a greenhouse effect.
I know.
Yeah.
So we get to the farm, and I'm just like, okay, well, we go up to pay. Oh, well, that's going to be $13 for the child and 2 adults, and that's going to be $46. And I'm like, okay, here's my money. And my brother paid, so which is fine. But I was just like, on their website, it said $10 per child. Adults get in free. Just don't bring any outside food. So I was just kind of, again, I was like, okay, whatever. I've already rolled over for something else today. I might as well just keep rolling on through life.
You didn't even bring it up. You actually tipped them. You were like,
I know. I felt so guilty about it. I was like, here's another 20%.
Here, let me just give you more money so
You're
I can get in.
You're just a 16-year-old doing your job. You don't know what the website says.
In fact, we're not even going in today. Here,
I know. I'm going to give you $20 for me to just leave. Like we didn't even have this conversation.
Okay.
So
he probably
Nate
designed the website.
gets me.
Yeah.
But anyway, so we get there. It's about 10:30, 11 o'clock. It's not quite super hot yet. We do some things. My brother's really great playing with Max on the little bouncy pad, this and that. And I start to notice there's these Yellowjacket traps everywhere.
Are they the ones like, it looks like a bag filled with fluid?
Yes.
And you're always like, what? How does that trap?
Yes.
Okay.
But like, and I should have noticed because in every Yellowjacket trap was like tens of Yellowjackets drowning in the whatever nectar or whatever they
almost
put in
like
there.
they were full up, no vacancy.
Yeah. And then once we're walking around, like we kind of go to the little grassy area where they have like cider and beer and wine. And I'm like, oh, I might get myself a little adult beverage. And then I notice on the fence post, there's like Yellowjacket trap, fence post, Yellowjacket trap, fence post, Yellowjacket trap, fence post. There were enough red flags for me to be like, you know what? We should probably just call it a day. But we paid $46 to get in here.
Yeah. I mean, it would have been 10 from Max, but
I'm going to try to make the most of this as I can. So we get on this little tractor ride where they have these plastic barrels that you're riding in.
Oh, yeah.
And all that happens was I just get dust in my face. Like we're just behind the tractor and it's literally just the 3 of us in there because there's not a lot of people there.
Nobody went. But Yellowjacket traps.
We do a lap around and I see some Christmas trees and like no animals, no nothing. We're just doing a little tractor ride. And the whole time I'm just getting rocks and dust in my face. But Max is having a good time. We do it for the kids, right?
Yeah.
That's why we do it.
That's why they're only $10.
We're all having a great time, right? Anyway, so we stay there. And the best time is like going into this indoor hay maze that's in the barn.
Right.
And it's super dark. So you have to turn on your cell phone light. But it's kind of cool. Like it's cool. Like it's like very, like, I mean, cool temperature wise in there. So it's kind of an escape from the like very stagnant heat.
Right.
We go in that a couple times. Max goes down the little tube slide or whatever. Having a good time, everybody. And then I'm like, let's go have a, little swig of water. And then I put my water bottle down on a bench, and then a Yellowjacket flies by the water, and then a Yellowjacket lands on top of the water, and then a Yellowjacket lands next to the other side of the water. And I'm just looking at my brother like, I need to step away from this. And he's like, what? And I'm like, I can't. I'm so thirsty, but I'm not grabbing that bottle of water. And so he grabs it for me, and I step away, and the next thing I know, I feel this hot poker in the corner of my hand. I didn't even touch anything. And I looked down, and the Yellowjacket had already flown away, but my hand was already twice its size in the corner of my palm.
Right.
And that shite hurt.
Right.
That hurt so bad. I felt like I had just touched like a hot stove because the heat just kept radiating. Like the pain just kept radiating. So then I was like pouring water on my hand, and I was just like, trying to get it to cool down because it hurt so much.
Yeah.
I was just like, mother.
Oof.
And I'm like,
okay.
I know. Like I was not in a good way. And so I walked down, I walked to the concession stand, and I asked the girls in there for a bag of ice. I said, can I have a bag of ice? I got stung by a bee. And they were like, oh, yeah, we'll get that for you. Like, almost like, oh, yeah, it's happened again.
Yep.
This is like the
this is just our life now.
200th time today. And then I look in there, and they have like ice cream and donuts and their little fresh bakery, and they have Yellowjackets flying around in there.
Everywhere. Yeah.
Everywhere. everywhere. It was like a plague.
Yeah. Wait, I know you didn't want to mention the name, but it was Yellowjacket Farms.
Yeah.
In fairness, I mean, Oregon's premier Yellowjacket visitor center.
And so I'm so angry. I'm Googling on my phone, what even are yellow jackets good for? You know?
Right. Well, because they don't make honey, right?
I know.
They're like,
They sting and their stingers don't come out because they're not protecting any. They're only protecting themselves
right. They can sting
from death.
as many times as they want.
So, yeah. After that, I mean, and then we had to go pick you up we came home for a couple hours and I just was like, I am so ready. You ever just wake up and you're like, I haven't even been awake an hour, but I just want to go to bed so I can just do over. Like, this is just the worst. And I'm like, the only thing I'm looking forward to is Mitchell getting back home.
Right.
And then you come back home and I'm like, hey, did you check a bag? And you were like, oh yeah, I did check a bag because I was like, oh, maybe he can just hop off the plane and you got to carry on.
Yeah.
So we're like waiting at this little satellite lot, and then you eventually, and then you can take over the story.
Oh, well, no, because I had come down.
Anyways, so this was like my worst day ever in a really long time. Like it was just awful.
You brought it to the airport because I had planned. So on the road trip, I took it's a carry-on size bag, but I was like, in my head, I'm like, I'm going to check this. Because why? Because I have, I have maybe $60, $80 of skincare products in there. And I already knew ahead of time. I didn't want to have to like figure out how to take portable, small, less than 3.4 ounces. I was just like, you know what? I'm taking my normal stuff. I'll pay the $35 to ship this on, to check a bag when I go back. That's what I'll do. That's just my plan. And I was okay with that, right? And it's one less thing. You got to admit, when you just check it, you're like, you just take your backpack or nothing and you walk on a plane. You're just like, I'm not fiddling around. I'm not trying to lift this up. So I had done that, paid for it. And I was like, this will just be easier all around, right? And I get off the plane and then I get off. And then there's in the board that normally shows your flight and arrival and where your baggage number, which baggage claim to go to, didn't have anything. There was nothing for our plane. Our plane wasn't listed. And then I get down and I'm like kind of wandering around to the baggage area and there's nobody, still hasn't updated. I'm like, what? And I'm looking at each carousel. They're not many running. And I was just kind of like, I don't know what's going on. Am I like, did I miss something? Was there some important announcement? And then some guy, I see him and I'm, okay, he's on the flight. He's looking confused too. And I was like, hey, you're looking for the, Minneapolis. Like, yeah. I said, it's not
what
even
airline
listed.
did you fly?
Alaska Airlines. And I was like, okay. And so he's like, we're kind of both like, well, at least we have a buddy to be confused. But there was a full flight mostly. I had my own seat, actually. Full flight mostly. So I'm like, there should be a whole bunch of us.
Wait, you had your own seat?
Yeah, I had.
What airline is this? It sounds magical.
I had my own row, which was I had a seat and then an empty seat next to me. Sorry. Yeah, Sorry. I had my own seat. Alaska's doing that now, even though I was on the Saver plan. I paid extra to have my own seat. Yeah.
We're getting to that point. Well,
they have a new one where you stand for half of the time and you rotate with someone else. It's the super duper saver seat. You don't get to pick it. In fact, you just rotate with somebody. Like they spend half the time in the bathroom and you spend half the time in the bathroom. But
God forbid it's like, snack or beverage time. Yeah. Okay.
Like, dang it, man. I didn't have to do that this time, which was nice. It was nice just to have my own seat, not have to share with some stranger. So then we find there's some other lady who we recognize. She's like, oh, you guys looking for XYZ, Minneapolis? We're like, yeah. She's like, my husband just said it's down at Carousel 1. It's not labeled or anything. And she said they just put all the luggage just on the carpet out there, just sitting out.
Oh.
Like, okay. Oh. It's not even on a carousel. It's like, okay, whatever. And then we get there. And here's what's weird. I never see, we get there and there's like 6 items of baggage. There's some blue carry-on things. I'm like, awesome. It's like my thing's there because it's blue. And then I'm like, oh, wait a minute. It's actually not. It's, they pick up their stuff because they had a couple kids. And then there's really not anything left. And I'm like, I'm like, well, I don't know where my bag is.
I don't know. I'm like sitting in the parking lot. Like, where is my husband? Right. And Max is like, are we going to the airport yet? And
so, yeah. Well, I go and I tell them, it's like, hey, I don't know where my bag is. They're like, oh, and this happened to keep that stupid sticker because I had to label my own bag and check it in. I kept the little sticker and they like scan the sticker. They're like, oh, it's not, hasn't it hasn't actually gone anywhere. It's only been like they got it at the counter or at the check-in. It hasn't even been scanned. I was like, oh, they're like, well, so we're not sure where it is. I was like, well, okay. Well, we'll get it to you. But, you know, they get my address. They give me a little claim form, whatever. I thought, okay, whatever. This happens, right? So, and I tell them, hey, there's a CPAP in there. I don't know if I tell them at this point in time. I was like, I'll just, anyway.
Man, you would have thought
Well,
your lifeline had been forever lost.
So,
Your stolen CPAP.
Yeah. Well, then I get back home. So I was kind of like a little bit frustrated. And I eventually and I probably to check. I was like, hey, I'm not seeing, I just want to check in. And they're like, oh, and that's what I think that's when I said, there's a CPAP in there and a few other things. And lady's like, oh, she's like, well, can you tell us more about the bag? I was like, it's blue. It's, like this. I'm pretty sure it's Rockland brand. Anyway, I give her that. And then, of course,
I was going to pull up a picture of this blue bag.
Right. Well, then, I'm sitting there and then later I'm starting to get a little frustrated because I'm like, oh man, I don't know. And I look it up on Amazon. I was like, well, it's actually not blue. It's gray with some blue sides. So then, I'm distracted.
This is when you ask your wife.
I was distracted. Finally, it's like, I got to call him back. I just got to call him back and tell him it's not blue. Because here I'm imagining in my head, there's a whole crew. There's like 30 people scouring the airport looking for a blue carry-on, and they're all Alaska, like, hey, ladies and gentlemen, we are looking for a blue bag. And then some guy's like, well, there's this one over here, it's gray with a little blue. Like, nope, that's not the bag. We're looking for a blue bag. If anyone can help us find a blue bag. So I call the lady, right? And she's funny because she's like, I tell her, like, this one's nice. She's like laughing. I said, well, I asked my wife, it's not blue, it's like gray. She's like, oh. I was like, yeah, it's got she's like, I'm going to put multicolored. I'm going to update the case file. I'm like, perfect. Yeah.
And for the record, everybody,
she's updating.
This is the blue suitcase.
Okay. Yeah.
Can you see that on the thing? Yeah.
So she's updating the case file. So it's multicolored, blue and gray. She's she's kind of laughing. And I said, well, she's like, well, what else is in there? And I told her about the CPAP. And then I mentioned the down jacket. And then she's like, oh, this lady literally goes, well, what color was that? And I was like, well, I said, it's kind of like a, I would call it maybe a midnight blue. It's not really a royal. Then she starts laughing. She's like, do you need to ask your wife? I was like, she'd probably know better. She's like, I'm just kidding. You don't have to tell me the color of the jacket. She's like, and she was funny that way. She's like, I'm just kidding. It's like, oh, I thought you really wanted to know. She's like, I was just kind of like, you were talking about it. So she's like, don't worry. We're going to get this taken care of. And then, I don't know if that's day 2 because it didn't arrive that night, right? No.
Yeah, it did. You thought it would maybe arrive late in the middle of the night, your first night, but then the next day when you weren't able to track it, you really just started losing hope.
Right. So because
it arrived the next night at 8 p.m. Right.
Right. But but that same night, the very night, Saturday night, you were tired, or did you have to sleep?
I had to work.
Excuse me.
I did have to sleep. I had to get up at 3:30 the next day to work.
I was like, oh, so you went to bed early, and then at some point, like 10:30 at night, the phone rings, and it's like, this Global Solutions. Like, oh, I'm answering it, and then he's like, okay, this is. She had a strong accent, but she was speaking English. But she was like, oh, do you have calling about the CPAP machine? I was like, oh yeah. She's like, do you want a rental or do you want just like the one? And I was like, or do you just want the one that you have? And I was like, well, I just want the one I have. Like, I was really confused what she was asking. And she's like, okay, but are you going to need a rental machine? I was like, well, I was so confused. And
Who was it? Who was calling you?
Global Solutions. They're like a third party. They help with medical equipment.
Oh.
So Alaska contacted them and said, this guy has a CPAP. He doesn't have a CPAP. You better call him. So she's trying to help me make arrangements at 10:30 at night, but it wouldn't be till Monday that they could get me. This is Saturday. She's like, and that's when I'm in the room. She's like, do you know what the model is? And I'm digging through the side dresser, making all this racket. And you're over there and you woke up and I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to find out.
Oh, I was wondering who you were on the phone with so late at night.
What the CPAP machine is. I'm telling her, because first I'm like, it's a ResMed. And then I'm like, oh, wait. And then I was like, no, actually, sorry, it's Philips. And then she was like, oh, so it's.
Isn't it Philips ResMed?
Well, ResMed's another brand, but she's like, it's a Philips Dream Sonic or something. Dream Mapper? Dream. Anyway,
I think Dream Sonic.
Dream Flex? But I'm like, no, it's a Philips And then she's like, oh, and then she says, so it's Tillips. And I was like, no, I was like, no, it's a Phillips, like a P, like, and then my brain wasn't working because I was like,
like a P,
like
as in Phillips.
She's like, okay, so, and I said Phillips, and she's like T, and I was like, no, I'm just like, no, it's like, it's Phillips. She's okay, I get you with a Phillips. And I think she even said Resmed. I was like, yeah,
Wait,
whatever.
What's the thing in the phonetic alphabet?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. LMNO, Papa. That would be Papa Hotel, India Lima, India Papa.
Yeah.
Sierra would be correct, but I was like, oh, but I don't think she would if I said Papa. She might have been like Tapa, and I was like, no, okay. So, anyways, no. She's like, okay, I think I got all that, right?
Pretty set on the T.
Yeah, I was just like, okay. Obviously, she's not familiar with CPAPs, but then it gets better because then she's like, so, where was the CPAP? And I was like, oh, it's in my luggage, in my carry-on. She's like, oh, but where? And I was like, oh, and I was like, oh,
where in your luggage?
And she's like, but where? And I was like, so if you open up the carry-on with the wheels facing you, I was like, it's on the right part of the luggage in there. She's like, yes, sir, but where was the CPAP? And I was like, well, it's, I was like, well, it's, I guess technically it's kind of in the lower left corner, but it fills up most of the carry-on on that side. Like, it's pretty good size, but she's like, no, sir. She's like, where did you last see it? And I was like, in the luggage. And she was like, no, like, where did you see it? And I was like, oh, I was like, this whole time I'm describing exactly how I've placed it in the carry-on.
You're probably almost crying because you were so emotional about this CPAP, guys. I cannot stress to you. Like he had already written off sleep for the night. He was just like, I might as well not even sleep. It doesn't matter. I don't even have my CPAP.
I know I'm just going to die while I sleep or I can stay up and right. So I was like, oh, and then I kind of tell one of those little fibby things because I was like, I'm not having them be like, oh, you packed it at the hotel, but you didn't see it since then? Very sketchy, sir. So I was like, well, technically I saw it was, I guess the last time I saw it was when I opened my carry-on in the car before I closed it. And then we were in the airport turnaround. So I guess maybe just the airport.
Yeah.
The airport drop off.
Yeah.
And she's like, okay. And I thought.
MSP.
We spent all this time.
Minneapolis, St. Paul.
If she had said, where was the last time you saw your CPAP? Rather than where was the CPAP? Because she did. She led with where was the CPAP? I was like, oh, it's in the right side of the luggage. I'm describing like the wheels are facing you and you unzip it. It's the, but where?
Like she's over there drawing a diagram.
But
like, okay,
where?
Got
but
it.
Where? Anyway, well, now that's funny that you say that. Because then I was so paranoid. Like, so I had already. I mapped out when I thought everything was lost. I was like, I'm gonna brain dump everything I can remember.
What does that say? Down Scarlet? Down down jacket.
Down jacket. CPAP is here. The toothbrush case, shaving
Bag
kit.
of shirts.
Shirt. Dirty laundry, neti pot. It was in there. A Ziploc bag with coffee. I drew a diagram because I was like, if I have to submit some paperwork. Yeah, where was it? Well, you see, it's kind of in the lower right.
Yeah.
And the wheels.
Yeah, there are the wheels. There they are.
So, and then I was.
I don't know what that is on the bottom. Lungs.
Yeah.
Like a pair of lungs.
It's Burke's in a laundry bag. And then my sound core, and then, so here's how I'm already thinking about the claim, right? I'm like, I'm going to get the new Soundcore sleeping headphones, which are like $280.
Oh my God.
And I was already, this is how wound up I was. I was pulling receipts off of Amazon. I'm like getting ready for the case when they're like, because the next day I'm like, they're not finding.
Where's my phone? Oh shoot, my phone's over here.
Yeah.
But
I was like, they're not. This is gone. Like there is this suitcase.
Oh my God, you were so hopeless. Like I have never.
I was like, it's on its way to, I don't even know, Bangladesh. Like some guy is loading suitcases in the back of his truck really quick, and that's it. And I'm probably just gonna die from sleep apnea, and that knows Burke's. Although then later I was like, but there's a limit of like $4,700. So I was like, I'm going to find the most expensive clothing. In fact, I had already in my mind bought one of those shirts from the Brad Pitt cashmere brand, like God's only, or oh no, I was like,
What?
I was like, I'm gonna tell them all this, but challenge. I wasn't gonna really commit fraud. Listeners, beware. I was really not going to commit fraud. I just was gonna make sure I was getting all my money back. Now, did you find you're trying to find?
No, I'm looking.
I'm sorry. So, the lost luggage was I got at like. I don't know, maybe 12:30, 1 o'clock. I get a call from a lady named, I think, Rita. And she's like, hey, good news. Good news. Oh, son of a gun.
What?
Yeah. It's okay. Sorry, everybody. That stopped the recording because of whatever.
Oh, no.
I had to redo it. That's okay.
Oh, so you just lost a little bit?
Hopefully.
Okay.
Well, it's synchronizations. Okay. Keep going. And she's like, good news. We found it. It'll be landing in Portland like 3:16. By the time the driver gets it out, it'll be like 8 o'clock at night. And it was a little after 8. And when Francisco dropped it by, of course, I'm the eternal pessimist, right? Because all I was thinking was I was like, nobody answer the door. Because if this guy brings it and he's expecting a tip, I'm going to just come unglued. And I kept asking him the whole time, like, can I just get the $35 back like that? And they're like, well, we'll give you some airline miles. And I'm like, I'm
never flying Alaska again.
That was an unfortunate.
You were the people who convinced me to check the bag.
Yeah, because that was right. At the front, they're like, oh, the flight's full. The lady's like, they'll probably check it for free. And I was like, yeah, of course, she didn't know I had a whole bunch of stuff I didn't want to have to worry about.
Oh, man, you could have gate checked. That is the thing. See? Mm-hmm. You had all the stuff in the bag, so you had to.
I wouldn't have made it through security, but she was like, "Oh, you could probably gate check it for free because they're really full." I'm like, "I'll just pay for it now." She's like, she was trying to do me a solid. She was like, "But I was like, you know what, ma'am, I appreciate it, but I just in my head I was like, you don't realize I got $90 of Keels
in the
liquids.
Future, Keels. If you could just send us a bunch of travel sized stuff,
brought to you by.
We could avoid this all over again, okay?
So I didn't die. We got the luggage back. Which, you know what's so funny? It was like Christmas Day getting that thing. I was like, man, this is the most exciting time. I have dirty clothes. I'm like, I was already been out of shape. I was like, these shirts are one of a kind. These Quicksilver shirts, they don't sell them anymore. I took my favorite shirts on this trip. And I was like, I was just devastated. Yeah. Anyway.
I know.
But where?
Did I ever tell you the story about when my luggage was lost? When I went on my volunteer trip to Kenya.
No.
And I was going to be there for 6 weeks. And I made it, but my luggage didn't make it. Talk about the life leaving my body.
Were you?
You were in a foreign country for 6 weeks.
And all you can think is.
And you flew Ethiopian Airlines to get there.
Oh. Yeah.
Which actually pretty nice, by the way.
Yeah. Good job, Ethiopia.
But my luggage didn't make it. And all I'm thinking is, this is it. Like, I'm going to have to go 6 weeks and talk about first world problems in a third world country. But
so, I'm just laughing because I'm imagining the people that you may have been serving probably I've been wearing these clothes for 12 weeks, ma'am.
I know. That's why I'm ashamed to even tell the story. But being my stupid little 21-year-old self, and this is my first big girl trip out of the country, completely solo, nobody on the other side waiting for you.
Right.
Kind of. I was just I had one pair of underwear, and they were the underwear that I was wearing. I remember washing my underwear in the shower that night. Oof. And just not even leaving the room because I was just okay, this is
it's my new life. I'm just wearing.
I don't know what I'm going to do.
I shower with all my clothes on. Yeah, because then how do you dry those while you're waiting to dry?
I air dried them and went underwearless.
Well, so
slept naked.
How long did it take before you got your luggage?
It came the next night. Yeah. I think it was about 24 hours.
It was like Christmas Day. But of course,
it was oh my gosh, you don't even know.
You're just
I thought I was never going to see it again because I was I just felt like it had gotten stolen on the way. I know this is so awful to say. I just felt I was never going to see it again.
Right. Well, and this is where my mother who's raised me, obviously, well, mostly, she's always like, take a toothbrush in your carry-on, take a few little items
I was
in your
about to say,
carry-on.
I think the life lesson that I've learned is always, if you're taking a big trip like that, take a carry-on with a couple of days just worth of stuff.
Yeah, just even change of clothes.
Especially
even.
when you're going to a foreign country.
Yeah.
Like, be prepared for your luggage to get lost.
I generally have done that, like a change of clothes, a toothbrush, toothpaste, just some very simple, like, okay, worst case scenario, I can get by. And I realize you can buy stuff usually, but sometimes the country you go to, you can't buy stuff at 11:30 at night.
Yeah, right.
You don't just run down to the 7-Eleven.
Yeah.
But, well, okay. Yeah, that's, so I know I was pessimistic. I was mainly
I know, but it's the worst.
It's kind of stupid, though. But now you make me feel like stupid because, like, everything was technically replaceable. I was already looking forward to replacing it with a lot of more expensive stuff on the airline.
Yeah.
Which probably would have been a problem. So, yes, luggage return. We were we were talking because I did the road trip, which meant we did it it's 26 hours of driving. We did it in three days of driving. We split it that way. We were kind of kept it open if we need to do 4 or more, whatever. And as I've already said, the second day was like started in Utah, crossed Wyoming, got into South Dakota, and Wyoming. Oof,
The worst.
I've crossed it before, but yeah, just lots of. I haven't looked at a map, but with this, the way it was routed was no interstate. It really was. You drove on like a 2-lane road with no one around for 3 hours, and you got a stop sign, and you turn left, and you do that again till suddenly you're finally like, hopefully we get to a real road soon, or don't die out here, because that's how I felt most of the time. But, and then I was doing, so for hotels, we were kind of talking about hotels, maybe.
Yeah, because I haven't stayed at a hotel. Man, when was the last time I stayed at a hotel? Because everywhere we go, we either stay at my dad's if we're in Mount Airy, or we do an Airbnb, because you just...
That's a well, and these are like along the way. Probably when we drove out here was the last time you maybe stayed.
Yeah, maybe that. Or, we stayed at that hotel at the coast with your parents.
Okay. Oh, yeah. There we go.
So
that was fun listening on the wall, remember? There was the neighbors. We were all had our ears on the wall listening to some domestic altercation.
That was good.
I was using like USAA has a perks, and you can use that to find hotel. What I do is I look up a hotel when we knew where we were heading. And then I'd use that, and then I'd go through like Priceline, and then the actual website of the hotel. I kind of do like, what's this? Because each time was actually, I get a better deal with a different one. And then one time though, it was, I don't remember what the hotel, it doesn't matter. It seemed like everything now is owned by Wyndham, by the way. All the hotels.
I think the first one you stayed at was a Days Inn.
Oh, yeah. Which is owned by Wyndham.
It was kind of in the middle.
Right.
It wasn't a Motel 6.
Yeah, we were laughing. It's like you got the 6, and then 8's a little more, and you got Days Inn, and then you So that one was.
And then you got the Hampton Inn, which.
Oh, yeah.
You want to pay $350 a night to sleep in a bed? I think I'd rather sleep in my car.
Well, that's true. But I will tell you that one night I was like, there was a room. It's like the room's available. One was like, because we were looking 2 queens, right? One would be like, it said no elevator access, and I was like, that seems weird. Like, I guess maybe it was on the first floor. No elevator access. And then the other option was, wheelchair accessible, right? And I was like, I don't know. I guess what's wrong with wheelchair accessible, right? So I got a wheelchair accessible. I thought
you really didn't know what that meant.
Well, I didn't really think it through, but then I was like, I don't think I thought there was a third option. I thought I didn't get the wheelchair, and then not I don't know. I just thought whatever. So we get there, and the gentleman he's like, he said he was checking me, and he's like, and you got the handicapped, or I don't know if he called it handicapped. He had an accent, okay, again, and actually, and like. He was the kind of guy who was making his food there. It smelled really good. It was Indian gentleman.
Okay.
Or I shouldn't say, I don't know if he's from India, but like, it was like Indian food. I was like, it smelled really good. I was kind of like, ooh. Anyways, and I was like, did he say I had a wheelchair accessible or not? And then I was like, I think he did. And I was like, oh, great. And I was like, Olivia, I think you need to like limp or something. I need to carry you in. I don't know, because I don't want him to be like.
He doesn't know you don't have somebody out in the car.
I know. He did. So we can get in there, and I was like, hey, it had like the shower that you could just like, it was part
Roll
of the,
into.
Yeah, you could roll into it, had the bench. And I was like, hey, not bad, except for there was just a sink and no counter space anywhere in the whole bathroom. Very big bathroom, a big drain in the floor. And then I was like, oh, well, it's not the end of the world. I mean, other than the fact that like the water got everywhere outside of the shower. But I mean, I was sitting on that bench just kind of going, hey, this is nice. And until I started thinking about how many other people have been sitting on that bench. But what I'm saying is like, okay, lesson learned there. Because originally I thought, hey, I'm always going to get this till I realized there was no counter space, which kind of stunk. But, and then the bar, I was raising had the shower curtain or shower head that you could raise up or down.
Oh, yeah, like at
but
work.
All of a sudden it popped off the bar and the bar broke. And I was like, oh no. And I'm putting it back together. And I had to warn Olivia. I was like, when you go in there, it might come off if you're going to sit down. She was like, I don't think so. Like, just telling you.
You're like, well, I sat down.
Yeah. So we got to try. And then the very last one, we stayed at Cambria Suites, which is at the Mall of America. We did that little thing, but that one was pretty nice. That was the first time. So it had a mirror. There was a Bluetooth mirror. Because I was like, oh, what's a power button and a Bluetooth? So I paired it. It has a speaker in it, and then there's a zone in the mirror that like doesn't fog up. Because it must warm up or something.
In the shower?
No, it's just in the bathroom wall.
Oh, in the bathroom.
So
okay.
I could play some music and then it didn't fog up.
Oh,
I was
interesting.
Like, and then the mirror is like backlit. It was kind of cool. And I looked them up. You can buy these mirrors. I was like, oh, there's a new stuff out there. But I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. So what do you look for in a hotel?
I think one of the nicest hotels I ever stayed at was in Silicon Valley. It was a home 2.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean,
so it has like a little kitchenette, and then sometimes it's like a divided area where you walk in through a door and then there's the beds and whatever. So, and then this one had an Apple TV.
Right.
And I think it's because it was like in Silicon Valley.
Right.
So it just had like more techie features.
Yeah, amenities.
But I guess if you're like talking about basics, what I wanted as a kid was, or what we looked for the last time we stayed at a hotel in Bend, was a hot tub.
Yeah.
Breakfast. That's pretty much it.
Yeah. I mean,
like, I don't expect it to be clean. It's a hotel.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I want it to look clean. Yeah. I want it to look clean. I want the sheets to not have weird hairs on them.
Right.
But you get what you pay for, you know? Well, because we stayed at some Motel 6s on the way.
Yeah.
And
usually that's when you're like, I just need a bed to lay down. That's
Yeah.
it. I don't need anything extra, just a place to sleep and hopefully not contract a disease. The place that had the one with the wheelchair accessible was actually in Mankato. And I forgot because then we left and then Olivia was misplaced a temporary student card that she had gotten. And I called and they looked. And then, actually, I forgot about this. At some point, we were there, and she was she in the shower? And I remember looking next to her bed was a big puddle of, like, orangey red. And I was like, what is this? And then, at first, I thought it was, like, candle wax. And I put my hand on it, and I was like, oh.
Ew.
Look. And it was, like Frank's Red Hot kind of sauce or something. Yeah. Right. It was, like, kind of right next to the head of the bed on the carpet, but near the edge of the little side table. And I was like, what the crud?
What the heck?
So then I'm there cleaning it up because I didn't want someone to be like, what, you got a little crazy in here with your Frank's Red Hot? You crazy Americans? I was like, so I'm cleaning up this stained carpet, right? At that place. But I remember I go back the next day after we'd left, but I called like, hey, did you find this card? And they're like, oh, we already did whatever. The housekeeping didn't find anything. But then I drove back there because you know me. I'm like, I'll look in the parking lot. I'm looking all over for this dumb card thing. And then I went in and no one was at the front desk because it's like 11:30 after checkout. I go in, no one's at the front desk. I look down the hall. I see the doors are up. So I walked all the way down to our room. Nobody saw me. I was like, I'll just go in this room. I go in there and they've piled up the stuff. And then I was like, okay.
You went into the room?
Yeah.
How'd you get into the room?
It was open. The rooms were open. That's why I was like, okay, I'm going all the way in. Even though they checked, I'm going in. I'm looking for this thing. So then I quickly peeking around, and the bedding is either new bedding that's piled up on one bed, or it's warm It felt like it might have been new, but I kind of tossed that really quick because the bedding had been all piled up. And I was like, okay. I left my phone in the car, so I'm down on the ground, like feeling around under the bed, look with my bare hands, and looking because I can't see. And I'm like, there is a lot of strange bottles and other things. I'm rubbing my hands on this carpet, avoiding the El Tapatio spot or whatever it was, the Frank's Red Hot.
Yeah.
And I'm looking around, I was like, someone's gonna come in here and be like, what are you doing? But I'm like, I just gotta be thorough. Did not find the card. Then I was like, I gotta wash these hands because like they've been all over under the hotel bed.
Yeah.
That has not been cleaned. I can guarantee you because all the different things that were under there and things I couldn't see. But yeah, I never found that card. So anyways, didn't really matter. But yeah, that's the Mankato. What was that one? It was another Wyndham one. Microtel.
Oh yeah, Microtel.
A Microtel. So and that one.
There was a Microtel in my college town.
Yeah, and that's the thing. I feel like the coffees the waffle machines I used to think were cool. Now I'm kind of like grossed out by them. Because I'm like, the way the vat of batter, you kind of pour it into a cup and then some other guys doing weird stuff like, shoot, yeah. So anytime people have to cook their own food, I feel like
it doesn't really feel like
it's an opening for some greasy person to do like finger licking, touching things I don't want to know about. So
Sue.
I did have one waffle at one point just because I was like, I gotta do it. It was a decent one, but anyway. So, well, what else to say? Nothing.
I got nothing else.
Yeah, I mean, it's an okay episode. It's episode 15. It's just a 15er, people. I mean, what else to say? I mean, next time, because we still have family in town right now.
And taking them to the airport tonight.
We can follow up and do a touch base because Olivia's off to school. That was, and I can talk about other things. A Mall of America, interesting. And you ever heard of this?
I've heard of it, but
it's not the biggest mall. I think the biggest
it as a mall.
Yeah, well, I mean, I am.
But you make it out like an amusement park.
There is an amusement park in the middle of it. So
okay,
it's small, but I mean, it has like roller coasters and stuff. So anyway, other than that.
Yeah, so we might be taking a trip out there this November. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll see. Because that one stays open all year long, that amusement park. I can tell. Yeah, we had good luck that day.
Is it indoors?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's got a glass ceiling because on some of the rides we'd come up near the top.
Yeah, like I mean, because Minnesota gets probably pretty cold in November.
It already switched. Like they're already, I think, 60s or 70s now. Even though when we were there, it was like 90s. Like their little shift into.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone's shifting pretty quick this year.
It's a little cooler here too.
All right. Well, I mean, we can get the little outro song going. So it's
well, thanks for joining us.
Yes, everyone, and don't forget tune in on the
Instagram.
Yeah, TikTok. YouTube, X, Twitter, who cares about that? But Blue Sky, and
check our little snippets.
Oh.
Or go to the website, scarletandmitchell.com.
Bye.
Doing the most with Scarlet and Mitchell.
It's okay, because I can put the music in there. Why this thing's been problematic.
It's okay.
It's been problematic lately, so that's okay. So, it's going to start up. Oh, you know what? I bet it was playing the whole time.
Oh,
or was
the
it?
entire time?
No, it doesn't matter. Okay.
They're doing the most and they're bringing you in with stories that sparkle and barely begin. So plug in, unwind, follow the toast. It's Scarlet and Mitchell.